Welcome to Season 1.
Episode 14.
And not only do we have Dropbear and Panda,
we also have Newton.
Newton is actually sitting here on the couch at Kensington Studio.
Licking his belly.
Yes, that's his belly.
It is his belly.
It's his leg.
I don't know. There's a lot of fur.
Yeah, there's a lot of fur.
Tell. Yeah, he's sitting right in front of the microphone. Dropbear actually has to sit a bit to the side.
Yeah, I kind of want to use this as our cover for this episode.
Oh
shit!
Look at you.
Nice.
And now he's like, okay, I'm done. You guys are pissing me off.
You guys are assholes. Oh, no, he's just switching sides.
Oh, he's got to lick the other leg.
Yeah. Anyway, so here we are, and it is fucking snowing out.
Yeah, Newton's trying to figure out what to do, probably, because usually we have him in and out of the house.
Yeah.
But it's September 13th.
Yeah, it started snowing.
Yeah.
It's in the evening. It's when we do these sorts of things. I've spent the entire day editing videos and stuff. Didn't even look outside, and then when I did look outside...
Ugh.
Snowfall.
Yeah, so we live right by the mountains. So it's not unusual to get weird weather, but it's still technically the summertime.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's not. We haven't hit autumnal equinox yet.
No. And the funny thing is when people think of Canada, they think cold and igloos and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, dog teams.
But in Quebec right now, it's 36 degrees today and entirely sunny. And here it's like 5 degrees and snowing.
It was -2 this morning, and I was booked to go take somebody out on a tour of the foothills on one of these Euro motorcycles.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting asked if I wanted to do it, and I'm just like, well, I can. I've got some cold weather gear, and, I've got heated hand grips on the motorcycle.
Oh, those sound nice.
But at 60, so it's -2. So let's just say it's at 0 degrees. At 60 kilometers an hour, with the wind chill, that's -35.
Oh.
Who wants to sit in a cold little sidecar in -35 and, and it is -0, so there's a good chance there'd be ice, around corners and on bridges and stuff. Ugh. So I was like, yeah, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, you had mentioned to them that it wouldn't be a good idea, and they agreed with you.
Yeah, they sent it to the client saying, yeah, we just can't. Like,
it's funny that
you're inhumane.
It's funny that you're the voice of reason.
Well, on a motorcycle, there's a very, narrow band of,
You using your noggin?
Yeah, acceptable risk. And freezing and motorcycles, just not usually a thing. Now, these Urals do have, they've got a drivetrain that goes to the sidecar.
Yeah.
So they actually have rear-wheel drive, so you can drive them in the snow.
But it'll be freaking cold.
It'll be so freaking cold.
Unless they're built with, like, giant cold suits and snow suits and parkas and...
Well, and these guys do have some heaters in the sidecar. You can plug them in and stuff. But I'm just like, I don't know, man.
The snow or the wind and the coldness.
The ice going around the corner in the foothills.
Not good.
Yeah. Anyways, it's supposed to also be freezing rain earlier.
Yeah, that's just dumb.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do that. If I was a paying customer, there's no way.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, so there you go. You never know what you're going to get when you're here. But in Quebec, it is
hot.
36.
Well, I don't know if it's super hot right now because it's 10 o'clock at night in Montreal, but it was hot today.
So, speaking of Quebec...
This thing. It's just this little minor thing.
Just this little minor thing. So this guy, a couple years ago, accidentally shot his face off on a hunting trip.
His name is Maurice Desjardins.
Maurice Desjardins from Quebec.
Quebec.
And, and poor guy, he survived, but, talk about, like, a hard road.
Yeah.
But he ended up kind of teaming up with this doctor.
Dr. Daniel Borsak.
Yeah, who's done these types of procedures before in other countries, like he's assisted and stuff.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he ended up, so for the last 4 years, they've been planning on this transplant. So they had to basically get a team together. It was 30 hours long, this operation. And they took like the bones from the below the orbit of the eye, the upper jaw, the lower jaw, the cartilage of the nose. It's incredible.
So,
changed this guy's life.
So this is the first time in Canada that there's been a face transplant. It sounds like something out of Mission Impossible. Like,
totally.
It's crazy. So this happened...
Or Face Off.
Or Face Off, that's true.
Or Face On would be the new.
So it happened in, excuse me if I have this wrong, all my Quebec friends, Maisonneuve-Rosemont in Montreal, the hospital in Montreal did this.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, somebody has to pass away in order to transplant anything. So
what a gift, though. Like, and I know how hard that must be for the surviving family, but to know that, you know, it wasn't just his face, also other organs as well. Like, this guy donated his entire body, basically.
Yeah. Which is great. I'm a donor.
I'm a donor too.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
I have my little thing checked off on the back of my license.
I also give blood.
Yes, you do. I haven't given blood in a long time. I'm very confused with the amount of medication I take for my migraines and whatnot.
What you're allowed to.
I don't know if I can or not. I might be able to.
You'd have to go in there to do an interview.
Yeah,
because they'll look up all your medications and stuff.
But being a donor is great, and now you can frickin' donate your face.
I know.
It's insane. Like, science, holy shit.
Yeah.
Can't keep up.
No kidding.
It's incredible.
No kidding.
So I don't know who. So it wasn't a full face. It was from, like you said, the cheekbones down.
Yeah, basically just below the eyes.
And your nose, and his nose.
And they're saying that the nerves grow back at 1 millimeter a day.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's taken quite a long time for him to get feeling back in his face. That's why I think it happened a while ago. But now he's sort of out of the woods, and he's, you know, it can now be talked about as a success story. And
yeah, I might have my dates wrong, but I thought I was telling Dropbear earlier that I thought it was this gentleman had his accident in the spring, but you might not be able to hunt in the spring, and I thought maybe he was resting for 2 months, but it could have been 2 months, and then there was another 2 months before they talked about it. And
I think what ended up happening is they had the operation early in the spring, because he's like, I mean, you can see the pictures online and stuff. We'll put links to the stuff. I mean, he's healed up quite a bit.
Yeah, that's 4 months ago, so that's incredible. That's a crazy story.
Wild.
So
absolutely wild.
Speaking of, we're going to stay in Canada right now.
Yeah.
There's some weird stuff going on.
Oh, where? What are you
thinking?
Oh my god. Okay, so where do you even start with this gong show? I want to celebrate the 77-year-old woman who stood up in the Parliament and told Doug Ford told the gallery of people to go and, you know, stand up to your bullies.
Yeah.
She's pretty kick-ass.
I'm 77 years old and you can't treat me. I'm old enough to know what I'm doing. Get your hands off of me. That's how I envision it.
It was a lot like that. She's like she was not going to have democracy usurped by.
So, Doug Ford is the Premier of Ontario.
Yeah, that's right. Brother of Rob Ford.
Rob Ford, who was like the disgraced mayor of Toronto, who was a drug addicted alcoholic. So he's the Premier of Ontario. Why is he slashing seats from the Toronto City Council?
I honestly have no idea.
Toronto is the capital of Ontario. Ottawa is the capital of Canada, in the same province for people who don't know Canada. And Ontario is very, very big. Ontario and Quebec basically make up most of the voting population in Canada.
Yeah, pretty much whatever Ontario wants, it gets.
It gets, because there's so many people who live there.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely province, though.
Well, we both grew up there.
Yeah, love it to death. Yeah. But it's the Toronto City Council that he wants to slash 22 seats from. I don't understand.
All right, so Bill 5 basically is this thing that Doug Ford is trying to make good on. So he promised that he would reduce the size of government to save the taxpayers' money during the 2018 Ontario provincial election.
Okay.
But his party never mentioned that it was musing about this legislation, which unilaterally reduces the size of Toronto City Council from 47 members to 25.
And this is the Greater Toronto Area, or is this Toronto?
City of Toronto.
City of Toronto, okay.
Yeah, and I'm reading this off the nationalobserver.com just to cite my sources.
Okay. But it turns out that he's actually not allowed to do that. And he said, I promised I'm going to use my one magic wand I get a year
Yeah.
And wizard his way into his... Well, he's keeping a promise that he made.
I don't know enough about this thing to... I think the news point that caught my eye was, while they're in Parliament, there was a gallery of citizens. Because, you can go and watch the legislature.
Yeah. I did that in school or something a long time ago.
So you can be up there, and basically every time Doug Ford started to talk, people would be like, bullshit.
You mean the gallery?
The gallery.
Okay. So the citizens.
The citizens were, and then they were then you could hear it. Actually, they've got some footage of people yelling, "Stand up to your bully!" and blah, blah, blah. And then, a couple people got arrested. And these are elderly people. And the one lady was 77 years old. She's like, I'm 77 and I'm not going to stand by and watch my democracy get hijacked. I was just like, holy shit. And 2 cops are trying to remove her from the galley. Or gallery, whatever you call it.
We're on a boat now.
Yeah. Anyway, it was adorable, and it was very Canadian. And the NDP, of course, down on the floor, they're applauding the people, like doing the whole head nod and head yes.
Like, yes, citizens, protest?
Yeah. But Doug Ford, to his credit, is also trying to make good on another promise, which is a buck of beer.
Alcoholics everywhere are either crying or rejoicing.
And again, I don't know how that works. Are they not going to collect tax revenue anymore? Because I think that if you took off all the tax that you have to pay for alcohol, it'd probably be a buck of beer.
Well, yeah. What's a 6-pack? Well, I mean, we have different liquor laws
I think it's like right
in
now
every province.
$14 for a 6-pack.
$14 in Calgary for a 6-pack.
Call
beer.
it $2.20 a beer.
Yeah. So
that was my fast math.
So let's go $3 a beer.
$3 a beer.
So
it's like $18 a case. A 6-pack.
If the government is still going to be making money off of a buck a beer, holy crap, that's a lot of markup.
Oh yeah, well, and I don't think it's market. There's a lot of tax, like cigarettes, for example. What do you pay for a pack of cigarettes now? $24.
24. Well, 15 to 20 maybe.
I don't know. I bought that homeless guy a pack of smokes. I thought it was over $20.
Well, I mean, it keeps going up. When I was in university, it was like 10.
When I was a kid,
or 5.
growing up in,
can't remember.
Just outside of Toronto, it was $1. Because we
pack.
We used to go buy cigarettes for our friends' parents all the time.
So man, times have changed. So Doug Ford is going back to the good old days where packs of cigarettes were $1, and
that's right.
And you could have your beer at the same time for another $1.
And you know what? Let's have the kids just go be able to pick that shit up.
Yeah, it should be fine.
You can keep the change and
they don't have to wear seatbelts either when they drive in their cars and whatnot. Yeah,
and the candies back then, man, they were named inappropriately.
Yes, and we won't talk about those because we will be in a lot of trouble. So when Doug Ford got elected, nobody saw it coming. Right. Nobody expected him to get elected, but from what I recall, the choices were crap anyway.
They'd have to be.
But nothing can get done if nobody makes changes to, when you go to court over something, it can be like, well, we have to say you're guilty because that's always how it's been. And you're like, but does that mean that I'm actually guilty? Or why can't you just make a new law or something?
Oh, well, because it would overturn every other law that was ever made. And suddenly, it's...
So you crack open a can of worms that's...
Yeah.
Ugh.
But, going back to a buck of beer, I don't know how he's doing it. I don't know whether he's taking tax revenue out of Ontario. I don't know whether he's going to be penalizing the producers. I'm not sure how it's going to happen, and he seemed to be really proud of it and pumped up.
There was 4 people clapping in the whole room.
Yeah. And
very sporadically.
And it's just like, dude.
Yeah, screw helping teachers not have to buy their own supplies.
Right.
That's just out the window, but make sure everyone only pays $1 for a beer.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So weird.
Yeah, these are weird times that we live in.
People do call Doug Ford the Donald Trump of the North.
That's so sad.
And Canadians say that Alberta is backwards. Well, we might be, because Jason Kenney might be voted in, which would be a disaster.
God, I can't even imagine that world.
No.
I don't want to I might have to. That could be what gets me to BC quicker.
Well, we had
I thought they were going to change the leadership of the whatever they're called, the
UCP, CP, BC,
yeah,
LMNOPs.
United Conservative Party.
I don't even know, but so we had Ralph Klein,
Yeah,
who a lot of Albertans say was the best premier that Alberta's ever had.
certainly.
Now,
One of the best mayors too. Really.
he was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
I hope he wasn't drunk when he went into session, but
I probably was.
who knows? He was the one, I believe, who changed all the liquor stores to being private instead of public, which is fine, whatever.
It's a lot of privatization back then.
Yeah.
AGT went private.
Now, one of the big things that was one of his big promises was to get rid of the Alberta debt.
Yeah.
And he did that.
Yeah, it sucked.
Now we're way back in debt. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But Alberta suffered hard. He bulldozed 1 or 2 hospitals in Calgary alone.
Yeah.
And we've been struggling ever since. We had to build all these new hospitals because we had this big boom in the last 10 years in Alberta.
Yep.
And we're way back in debt. And the wait lists to see a cardiologist were like a year long because we didn't have any cardiologists because we had no hospitals, we had no space.
But I mean, you look at the general hospital, that had to go, right? That was so dangerous. Like, it was so old and filled with asbestos.
Yeah, but knocking down a giant hospital before you have anything else to replace it is
I'm not saying
ridiculous.
That's not a bad idea.
But he what he said to the public was, he's like, I made a promise.
This is how it gets done.
This is how it gets done. And I think schools were shut down and all this horrible stuff.
Oh, yeah, there's freezes on teachers' wages and all sorts of things.
It was awful and terrible. And I mean, I'm still, I work for a hospital and I'm still feeling it. And what was I, like 15 when this started all happening? I can't even remember. It was a long time ago. But you gotta also give it to him. He got hired or voted in because of this promise.
Oh, sure.
And it was terrible. And a lot of people said, I shouldn't have voted for him because it's so terrible now. But he did exactly what he said he was going to do, which you don't see very often.
Oh, yeah. No, and he was unapologetic about it, too. Didn't
he tell people to go fuck themselves once?
Yeah. Well, yeah, he...
Or more than once?
And what else did he say? Like, somebody steals your cattle... grab your shotgun and a shovel and shut up, or something like that.
Yeah, just shoot and shovel and shut up, or something like that. That was about the mad cow disease, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, if you find somebody, you find a cow in your herd that's got bovine encephalitis or whatever.
Basically, keep your mouth shut.
Shoot it, shovel, shut up.
Yeah. He got in a little bit of trouble for that.
A lot of trouble for that.
Yeah. I can see why.
But he was, so, I mean, just to talk about him for a second, he was a really crazy, awesome reporter for, I think, the Calgary Herald originally.
What?
Before he became mayor.
No.
Yeah, and he used to sit in, I want to say the Eddy. Oh, shit, what was his favorite watering hole? It was right down, the Louis. The Louis Hotel down on 7th was his watering hole, if I remember correctly. I'll have to fact check that, but I'm pretty sure. And then he became mayor, and he was one of the most successful mayors.
Yeah.
There's only been a few. There's been like Klein, Aldur, and Nenshi. I can't remember another one in my time here.
There was I remember Aldur. I remember Bronconier. I remember.
Well, yeah, Bronconier was in for a little bit, right? Not very long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about.
I wasn't a fan.
Yeah. That's probably why he didn't last long. Aldur lasted a long time. I think he was he the
I think he
mayor
was quite
for the,
nice.
for the
He had
Olympics?
a big mustache. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a really kind of howdy-doody sort of guy. Then, of course, Nenshi. But yeah, so he was a reporter, became mayor, and then went into like provincial politics as a premier. Kicked ass. And Newton agrees. Oh, yeah? You like Ralph Klein? You don't even know him.
Newton did the I dare you to touch my adorable fuzzy belly.
And I got to scratch it 3 times.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Sometimes you can scratch him 3 times. Sometimes you can scratch him 30. But you'll never know until he bites you.
Yeah, that's true.
Or nips you.
Yeah. But so speaking of weird politicians, so apparently Donald Trump basically said that the hurricane victims in Puerto Rico
From last year.
is basically fake news. The fact that it's 2,950 deaths that resulted from hurricane. Which one was it?
Maria.
Hurricane Maria was bullshit because the number went from 64 deaths all the way up to 2,900, and basically it was recalculated. Blah blah blah. Like you look back and you figure it out, right?
Yeah, he obviously doesn't realize that like hurricane death doesn't just mean getting blown against a blown through a plate glass window or
right.
drown in a pool of ocean water.
Right. It's been a year, and there's still places that don't have power, fresh water, food. So
yeah.
you've got a national crisis.
Yeah, I think he said that just because old people are dying, they're just tallying them up with the Maria disaster and just saying that it's because of the hurricane.
God, and to say that it's the Democrats that are trying to spin this. I mean, who does that? And it was the mayor of Puerto Rico. I forget what she was saying exactly, but she was just like, that's insulting. You're making it about you, and it has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
This is
well,
our people.
Considering Hurricane Florence is barreling down on the Carolinas, it's supposed to land Friday, which is tomorrow, which would be today.
Yeah, it's coming in hot.
When this gets released, hopefully we'll get this done.
But it did get downgraded, right?
Yes, so it was a category 4 for sure. They were thinking it was going to go to 5. It's gone down to 2.
Oh, that's good.
Which is great. However, the eye of the storm is apparently as big as Toronto.
Holy shit.
Which is massive. So even though it's a category 2, because it's so big.
And they're fairly flat, like close to sea level, right? Like.
Yeah, I think the Carolinas, it's a lot of flat beach. You don't have the cliffs I mean, I've never been to Maine, but I know a lot of the East Coast has big, thick cliffs and whatnot.
Well, at least they're not below sea level like New Orleans.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But,
that's true.
Our hearts are with you guys. I hope it's just a little tropical breeze.
Yeah, and I think they evacuated over 2 million people.
Holy shit.
And there's still tons of people who are like, no, I'm not fucking leaving.
Oh my God.
2 million people.
Where the hell do you put 2 million people?
I don't even know.
Fucking
like,
hell. And then,
Calgary
of course,
is over 1 million.
Yeah, then the looters are going to be after all the shit. And,
well, you know what? I would rather come out alive than worry about looters taking all my stuff.
Yeah,
but
I get that. It's funny. It's not funny. I just finished reading a book by Carl Hyacin. He used to be a reporter, maybe still is, for the Miami Herald down in Florida, and he writes books. And this book I just finished reading was called Stormy Weather, which was about the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's a humorous adventure, but it's like you can tell when a reporter is writing fiction because they're barbed, right? They see some shit and they're just like, man, humanity needs to get its shit together, and I'm going to expose the craziness that is people.
Yeah, and authors usually write, at least grasp onto something that they know, right? You can't write about something you don't know at all. Yeah. So I'm sure it's very obvious that he was there.
Maybe it wasn't Katrina. Which one hit Miami? Hurricane Andrew?
Oh, it could have been Andrew. There's so many. Yeah.
So, I'm going to go with Hurricane Irma or Andrew. I can't remember which one it was that was cited in the book. And sorry, Carl,
So we had been to Florida a few months before the big hurricane hit. And we had met some really, really great people in Florida. And it was really sad to see that, parts of Miami that you actually walked about on 6 months earlier were flooded and underwater and stuff. Yeah, it's insane.
Pretty crazy.
This is why I want to move away from Calgary to the coast, because I need the ocean. Yeah. But Calgary is so safe.
oh, you had to say that.
Well, I brought it. We brought it up before,
be a
right?
Meteor that hits it.
We'll get hit by a meteor, an alien spaceship, or something. Yeah. But and we're complaining about it snowing.
Yeah, but it's September, and this is the start of the complaining about the weather season. We actually started 2 weeks ago. It's just like, oh my God, like it just turned into autumn like that. Oh.
And before that, we were like, oh my God, the house is so hot. Like, I can't even now.
We're just like never happy.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, Canadians are the happiest people, but we're
not ever happy.
We just bitch and groan. When it's nice, it's just like, but the mosquitoes will get you.
Oh, God, the mosquitoes will catch you away.
Yeah, that's
well,
right.
You know, it's interesting. So one of the gentlemen I work for, his family lives in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
And Winnipeg is known for its mosquitoes and black flies and the fact that these mosquitoes are the size of, like, birds.
And their winter is insane.
Horrible, yeah.
Ugh.
Now, so he came back from spending 2 weeks or a week in Winnipeg, and I was like, so,
like this summer?
Yeah, this summer, and he goes every year. And it was particularly hot in Calgary that week as well. So I was like, oh, God, like, how was Winnipeg? Like, oh, the bugs, whatever. And he was like, didn't see a single mosquito the entire time I was there.
What?
See, the world is going insane.
Weird.
There's, like, winter in September.
Yeah.
There's hurricanes, like, 8 in a month over the last year or two. Shit. And there was no mosquitoes in Winnipeg.
Huh.
So he says. I don't know. Maybe he just didn't see any, but they were eating everyone else alive.
So just to jump on a quick little segue here about climate change.
Again, segue.
We just sat down and watched a movie on Netflix last night called Downsizing with...
Such an odd movie with
Matt Damon. And
Christoph. Oh, God.
And Chow. Fuck, what a great freaking... I liked it. Like, I'm so... I don't know. I think I was smitten by the whole concept of it.
It was a weird idea, and it was a really cute idea.
I love the fact that it ended up being a very simple story. Like, the whole, like, the ending, and I won't give it away if you haven't seen it, but I thought the whole arc, everything, boiled down to a very simple story.
But they didn't do it very simply. I found it quite disjointed and a little garbled, and there was stuff in it that didn't have to be there.
It did jump around. I think that Chow, who played Tran, the Asian amputee woman, we've got a friend of ours that thought that her voice was like tinfoil over fillings. And I disagree. I thought she was charming, and I thought that there's a lot of amazing acting moments in there that, like, I watched some of the clips today because I'm just like, man, I just love that part. And it was so good. Like, these actors were killing it.
Christoph Waltz is like the best thing ever, so I will watch anything he's in.
Yeah.
I will follow him to the ends of the world. He's so good.
But they just, I mean, there's just these little micro moments that when you see an actor and you don't see them acting, you see them being, it's a gift. And I really love it, and I rated it 5 out of 5 possible dargies.
You started a little bit of a firestorm there on Facebook.
I did. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
There's people hate stuff, and people love stuff, and people are very protective of the stuff they love and they hate, and it's pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, because on one hand, I'm like, dude, it was a movie. Like, either you like it or you hate it, or you like it or you don't like it. Like, whatever. My tastes are different than yours.
Yeah.
But we have a friend who watches quite a bit of movies, and he posts about them all the time.
Yeah.
And he cannot, for the life of him, enjoy a war movie. And I live and breathe war movies. Yeah. And, you know, some of them are obviously better than others. Some of them are way more accurate than others.
Yeah.
But there are some classic, amazing war movies where he's like, oh, it was shit. And I have actually, like, when he was like, Dunkirk, I was like, what's wrong with you? God, you're a horrible person.
Yeah, Dunkirk was amazing.
But it was, you know, I mean, everybody has their things, right? Like, I have a really hard time with superhero movies.
Or shark movies. You're welcome.
You know, listeners, I swear to God. But I mean, there's Avengers.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Yeah.
Super adorable and whatever. Like, kind of silly.
Still haven't seen Infinity Wars.
No, we haven't seen that yet. It's hard to not know what happens in it, but you know, but there's a whole bunch of. I have a hard time. I can watch some movies that are ridiculous, like, that make no sense, and I'll still enjoy it. But superhero movies, I just have a hard time suspending my disbelief over them, which is funny because there are so many movies out there that are ridiculous, and I'm like, oh yeah. I don't know, maybe it's because they all talk like this all the time. They all have Batman voice now.
Well, that's kind of what happened in Supernatural, Dean.
Well, I know, which also drives me crazy about Supernatural. I love
everybody, every character in there.
Just so
even their mom.
Dumb, I know. Like, and they're always so proper, and they always talk like this, and you're like, people don't talk like that.
That's right.
Especially with the Batman voice.
Yeah. Hello,
Anyways.
boys.
Yeah. It's like nobody would actually be able to hear you. You'd be like, what? What did you say, Crowley?
I said,
can't.
I'm the devil.
Yeah, I still can't hear you. I'm across the hall.
Dude.
Why don't
Awesome.
you speak up? Speak up, Dean. What'd you say?
Yeah.
Just drives me nuts.
Yeah.
But
well,
hey.
you have to be close to each other. Not unlike Paul McCartney and John Lennon.
Oh, my Lord. Okay, so...
I have a very short opinion about this whole thing.
Short.
Is number one.
GQ magazine, look it up.
GQ. We'll put a link. I don't fucking care. Like, it's weird that it came out, but maybe he was getting it. Maybe it was a really good interviewer. He had managed to coax that little tidbit of Paul and John masturbating together in a room. And what were they yelling? Some
I don't
woman's
even
name, I can't
know.
remember. And then the best part about this story is Zach Braff tweeting.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
yeah, look
God.
it up, guys. Look up Zach Braff and masturbating Paul McCartney.
Yeah, well, I'll put it in the links.
The only I don't care what people do in their spare time. I really don't. It's
Sure.
none of my business. If it doesn't affect me, I don't care.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid growing up, we used to listen to the Beatles all the time. Like we used to drive across the
Come
country.
together.
Yeah, that's just terrible. Wow. Oh. And I'm like, how old is? I know Paul McCartney just put out a new album, which
Yeah.
is great,
Yeah.
and that's why they're interviewing him stuff. But like, I don't know how old he is. I'm going to say he's 80 because I don't
sure.
actually know. But just such a, just to come out and say that.
I see what you did there.
Oh, it's just so. Didn't see that coming.
Nice one.
God. Make it stop.
Yeah, so I think a couple things. I mean, obviously, he's 80. He's playing by old man rules now, which means you don't give a fuck. You can say and do whatever you want, and you're 80.
I wonder if he's still going to be on Jimmy Fallon.
Well, probably. He's charming. I saw him in.
I know, he's pretty cute.
Yeah, he's with Corden,
Yeah.
and they were singing together, which was really cute.
Yeah.
And Zach Braff ended up tweeting to Donald Faison. What the fuck did he say? He said, "Call me ASAP."
Yeah.
And Twitter just fucking lit up.
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, "Eagle."
Yeah, if you haven't watched the show Scrubs,
You can't have Scrubs without rubs. It was one of the things I saw.
oh, so good.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I loved Scrubs so much.
And it's like man love.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's so cute.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah.
Anyway, yeah,
Well,
so I think he got some great publicity out of it.
speaking of publicity,
Yeah.
which is a great segue.
Thanks.
I'm very proud of that.
I set him up, you knock him down.
Yeah. Nike has done such a good job because so last week we talked about how everyone was mad at Nike and how we thought it was ridiculous, but whatever. Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Kaepernick. Excuse my horrible pronunciation.
Say
Kaepernick.
We can say it a lot of different ways. But yeah.
Was a great spokesman for them because
And did you see that ad? Like
the ad is incredible. Ad is so good.
God.
It closed today. Nike stock closed today, September the 13th, at $83.47 US.
Holy crap.
That is a record.
Yeah, that's an all-time high.
High.
Like lifetime high.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lifetime high of closing. And ever. I mean, if you look at the year, if you go back to the graph, being a year long, it's just going up.
Yeah.
I mean, it has its down moments like every stock
They're
does,
very
but it's
strong
still
brand.
going up.
Yeah.
So all of these crazy people being upset about Nike having a spokesman who
We're gonna
stands
take you
up,
down.
Oh, it's just so dumb. And millions and billions of people are gonna ruin your company. No.
Yeah. It was funny, and we mentioned this last week. We saw the dive, like a little tiny cliff. And if you zoom in, it looks like a pretty significant drop.
Yeah.
But if you zoom out, it's not even a wormhole.
It's a regular down blip that they have.
And then it just keeps going up.
Just keeps going up. So the previous high was 83. In August 21st, it was 82.95.
Huh.
So it's
Good on you,
just
Nike.
still goes up. And I guess the sales are up something like 20 or 30% from last year.
Oh, shit.
So, I mean, I even said, I think I own a pair of sneakers that are Nike.
Yeah.
Which are weird because they're white and like fluorescent yellow.
Well, that's weird
and
for
listeners, if you ever have seen me or looked at me, the most color I have is the pink in my hair and my tattoos, but I wear black like 99.9% of the time.
Yeah.
But if I buy more sneakers or anything, I'd most definitely buy Nike.
Yeah.
Or one of their affiliates, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and I saw Jim Carrey on he's doing some tours and talk shows and stuff. Mm-hmm. And one of the first things he did was put his shoes up on the desk and they're Nikes. So
That's so great.
Yeah. And he's got some shit to say. He's Canadian born. And he's got some stuff. He's very politically active and does not like Trump at all and is all about Nike and making a difference and stuff. And a fucking artist in his own right.
Yeah, yeah. The funny thing is I'm going to circle back around to the Beatles here. Apparently there was an interview done, and it was just a blip I saw today, and it was from like 1964 or something like that. And a reporter said, how do you feel about people like breaking your records and being angry about something? I can't remember. Oh, okay. Maybe they talked about, I don't know, holding hands instead of whatever. And he said, well, if they've bought the records first, doesn't bother me at all because we're still getting paid. Yeah. Which is exactly what was happening, like you're tearing apart all your stuff, but you've already paid for it. Yeah. Best publicity, really. Oh, because you have people that are mad at Nike who'll either forget or go away, but then you also have a huge majority of people who are like, good on you, Nike. Yeah. I will actually buy from you based on that.
Oh, yeah. And I think those are the people that they wanted to... radicalized is not the right word, but you want people to be that passionate about your brand. Yeah. And that, and I'll put a link to the commercial, and it's fucking so good. Yeah. I was really moved by the whole thing. They did it right. They found the message. Whoever the firm is, I think it's probably still the same advertising firm they've used since the beginning. They just know that brand so well, and the brand knows themselves. And I don't even think it was a risk, really. I mean, it's so in line with them as a brand. Mm-hmm. Like the Nike that we know now. So.
Weren't there problems with them with child labor in like Malaysia?
There was a lot. And it goes back a long ways. Like Phil Knight used to bring in shoes from Asia. Yeah, they're not entirely. They're not sparkling clean, but they're doing the right things. Yeah. And that's kind of the. I mean, who knows? Maybe they thought child labor was okay because the kids were at least getting paid. And,
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Families were now be able to put food on the table, and it's not until you look back and under a different lens, then you can be like, oh, that's terrible. Because.
Yeah, world's changing really quickly, whether it be weather or politics or shoes. How are we saving the world?
That is such a great question. I would say saving the world for me this week has got to be buy Nike.
Continue with the Nike trend. Yeah. Don't accidentally shoot yourself in the face when you're hunting.
Oh, smart. Yeah.
Yeah. Careful with your guns.
Yeah. If you are going to hunt stuff, make sure it's for food and you eat all of it.
And I think the obvious one, which I can't believe I didn't think of this like 10 seconds ago, be a goddamn donor.
Right.
Give blood, give your face, give your liver, your kidney, your eyeballs.
Yeah, you're not using it anymore.
Check that box off. Yep. Like, be a donor.
Be a donor.
There's some cardiologists I work with. Well, not directly. Other people do. But heart transplant doctors in cardiology. And one of them has a little sign up on her door that says, donate your organs. Like, before you go to heaven, donate your organs because heaven knows we need them here.
Oh, nice.
Which is a nice little play on words, right? Yeah, so,
cute. Yeah, I like that. That's
donate your stuff.
Yeah, give it up. I like it.
Good.
I've been Dropbear.
I've been Panda.
And together, we saved
the world.
Tune in next week when we come back and save the world yet again.
It's so amazing how often we do this.
like a locomotive blowing out on my normal chap out.
Dropbear and Panda.